I never imagined a quick trip to the grocery store would spiral into a scene straight out of a reality TV show, complete with a screaming match, shattered eggs, and someone getting hauled off in handcuffs. But when you live in a neighborhood ruled by someone like Linda Harper, the self-proclaimed queen of the Pinecrest Homeowners Association, normal is just a word in the dictionary. It was a sunny Saturday morning, and I was VYing through the aisles of our local supermarket, hunting for ripe avocados to whip up some guacamole for a barbecue later. I'd already spotted Linda in the produce section, her sharp eyes boring into me from behind a stack of cucumbers. I brushed it off, figuring she was just in one of her moods. Big mistake. After about 45 minutes of dodging carts and debating cereal brands, I finally rolled my cart into the checkout line. The guy in front of me, a sweet old man with a fedora, was taking his time counting out exact change, coin by coin. I didn't mind. I was scrolling through my phone, half lost in a group chat about the weekend. When it was my turn, I started unloading my cart onto the conveyor belt. The cashier, a cheerful woman named Emily, flashed me a warm smile. "Rough day in the grocery trenches?" she joked as she scanned a bunch of bananas. I chuckled, just glad to be at the finish line. This line was MOVYing slower than molasses. I was reaching for my wallet when a voice sliced through the hum of the store like a fire alarm. "Stop right there. Those are saw mine saw." I spun around to see Linda Harper, her cart barreling toward me with enough force to dent a car. Her face was a storm of fury, cheeks flaming red, her manicured finger jabbing an inch from my nose. "You cut the line," she spat, her voice dripping with venom. "I've been waiting here for saw 20 minutes, saw, and you just strolled right past me." Typical. I blinked, completely thrown. Excuse me? I've been in this line for at least 10 minutes. You weren't even here." Linda's eyes narrowed to slits. "Don't play dumb with me, saw new guy saw. I know exactly who you are. The one who moved into Pinecrest last month with that hideous green mailbox that violates our bylaws." And there was the real reason for her meltdown. A couple of weeks ago, I got in a snippy letter from the HOA about my mailbox being emerald green instead of the approved forest pine. I'd planned to repaint it tomorrow, but apparently that wasn't fast enough for Linda, the HOA dictator. Emily, the cashier, tried to step in, her voice polite but shaky. "Ma'am, this gentleman was definitely ahead of you. I saw him waiting." Linda's head whipped toward Emily, her blonde ponytail swinging like a weapon. "You weren't paying attention. I want your manager saw now, saw. And those groceries." She pointed at the bags Emily had already packed. "They're mine." Before I could wrap my head around what was happening, Linda lunged across me and snatched one of my bags. I grabbed it back on instinct, and suddenly we were locked in a ridiculous tug-of-war right there in aisle 3. "Let go of my groceries," I said, trying to keep my cool even though I could feel the eyes of the entire store on us. "I'm paying for these." Emily piped up, her voice nervous. "Well, he hasn't paid yet, but these are saw-his-saw items." Linda's grip tightened, her nails digging into the bag. "I was here first, so they're mine. Go to the back of the line and start over." By now, a crowd had formed, shoppers craning their necks, some pulling out their phones to record the showdown. I could practically hear the Karen compilation editors salivating. "Look," I said, forcing myself to stay calm. "I've been waiting here like everyone else. There are open lanes if you're in a rush." Linda's eyes flashed with rage. "Don't you dare talk down to me. Do you know who I am? I'm the president of Pinecrest HOA. I can make your life a levying hell." I couldn't help a laugh slipped out. "Worse than this? That'd be a feat." My sarcasm was like pouring gasoline on a fire. With a sudden yank, Linda ripped the bag from my hands. It tore, and my groceries went flying, apples rolling under carts, a carton of eggs smashing open, and a bottle of olive oil shattering, turning the floor into a skating rink. "Look at this mess you caused," Linda shrieked, somehow spinning it as my fault. "This is why we don't tolerate people like you in our community." The store manager, a lanky guy named Tom with a name tag and a tired expression, rushed over at the sound of breaking glass. "What's going on here?" he demanded, staring at the chaos. Linda jumped in before I could open my mouth. This man cut in front of me and saw me when I called him out. I was so stunned by the lie, I could barely speak. That's not what happened, I finally said. I was checking out when she accused me of cutting and tried to steal my groceries. Tom glanced between us, clearly wishing he'd called in sick. Both of you, calm down. I saw him calm. I said, my heart pounding but my voice steady. I just want to pay and go. He should be banned. Linda bellowed, now performing for the crowd. He's a menace in our neighborhood, ignores HOA rules, parks in VY-sided spots, probably doesn't even recycle. The accusations were getting wilder. I never parked in a VY-sided spot, and I was obsessive about sorting my recyclables, but facts didn't matter to Linda. An older woman in the next lane spoke up. I think we should call the police. A few others nodded. I held up my hands. That's not necessary. I found my groceries. But Tom, surprisingly firm, agreed. I think it's best. We don't tolerate this kind of behavior VY, or... Linda's jaw dropped. You're calling the cops on Sami Saw? Do you know how much I spend here? I'll have your job. Tom didn't flinch. Ma'am, step back and wait for the officers. He turned to me. Sir, let's get you checked out over there. As Tom led me to another register, Linda lost it. Don't you walk away from me, she screamed, charging forward. What happened next felt like slow motion. She grabbed my arm, her nails biting into my skin. When I pulled away, she slipped on the olive oil and stumbled, flailing. To steady herself, she grabbed my other grocery bag, sending another carton of eggs crashing to the floor. I reached to catch them, and Linda, thinking I was coming for her, slapped my wrist so hard it stung. Did you see that? She wailed, clutching her chest like she'd been shot. He tried to hit me. The crowd gasped, but not for her reason. At least 5 people had their phones out, and they'd saw her slap Sami Saw. A college kid in a hoodie stepped forward, holding up his phone. I got all on video. She hit him. Linda's face went pale, then red again. He provoked me. He threatened me in the parking lot. Another lie, I hadn't even seen her until the checkout. The store doors slid open, and 2 police officers walked in. Tom briefed them quietly, pointing at us. The female officer, with a no-nonsense VYB, approached me. Sir, what happened? I laid it out, waiting in line. Linda's accusations, the tug-of-war, her grabbing my arm, the slap. I showed her the red mark on my wrist, already bruising. Meanwhile, Linda was GIVYing her own performance to the other officer, while VYing her arms and name-dropping. I know Captain Daniels. We golf at the country club. The officer wasn't impressed. Ma'am, that's irrelevant. Linda switched tactics, her voice suddenly soft and shaky. Officer, I was scared. He was so aggressive when I politely pointed out he cut in line. The crowd wasn't buying it. People were shaking their heads, some showing their own VY deos. The hoodie kid stepped up again. Officer, I recorded everything. She was the aggressor. The officers huddled. Then the female officer turned to me. Sir, do you want to press charges for assault? I hesitated. Part of me wanted to just go home and forget this circus. But Linda's behavior was out of control, and I'd heard enough neighbor horror stories to know this wasn't her first rodeo. Yes, I said. I want to press charges. Linda's eyes bulged.